Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about Rick and Morty. Did the show get too smart for its own good? Let's do it. I think the show at its core is smarter than it needs to be. And by smarter, I mean way more convoluted than it needs to be. There are moments in the show where it feels like the writers just flex how smart they are. They kind of show off with big words and ideas. It's kind of like if your friend in high school who was like, yeah, my dad's an investment banker. He makes 200 grand a year. Kind of like that. If you didn't know that person in high school, you probably wouldn't care. But when that person starts rubbing it in your face, then you're gonna be annoyed. That's how I feel sometimes with Rick and Morty. The first point is meta humor got too meta. I feel like in season 1 and maybe even into the start of season 2, there was a balance between normal humor and the self-referential humor. You know, when they break the fourth wall or make fun of the fact that this is a TV show, there was a good balance between that and just regular old-fashioned fun, silly sci-fi adventures, but now every single episode is like full of it. In the episode Analyze Piss, Rick breaks the fourth wall and talks directly to the audience. Like, don't you people have anything better to do than watch this show? I thought that was funny the first time, but now it's just annoying. It's the writers rubbing it in our faces that they know this is a TV show. No more character growth. Another thing that's frustrating is that none of the characters really seem to grow anymore. They stay the same. There's no real character development. And what I mean by this is like Rick still remains nihilistic and selfish, Morty still remains a scaredy cat, Summer still remains a vapid mean girl, everyone remains the same, and no one really matures. They all kind of stay the same annoying selves throughout the whole series. So we don't really see any type of growth with these characters. New writers, new tone. This show has had so many writers over the years. There's been a revolving door of writers and showrunners. Even Dan Harmon, the creator of the show, had to leave for a while because he was, having problems of his own. So Jeff Rowe took over. And I don't want to shit on Jeff Rowe. He did do some good things. But overall, there was a change in tone. The show went from being like a fun sci-fi adventure comedy to more of like a cynical, dark comedy. It's just, the tone is different. It's not necessarily worse, but it's definitely different. I miss the fun, silly Rick and Morty. I mean, they still have moments like that, but overall, the tone of the show has changed quite a bit since season 3. Emotional arcs just disappear. Another thing that's frustrating is when the show ignores emotional character moments. For example, in season 4, there was an episode called The Old Man and the Seat. In this episode, Rick finally opens up to Morty about his past and his regrets. It's a very emotional moment. However, in the next episode, Claw and Order, Rick goes back to being completely heartless and uncaring. He doesn't even remember that emotional conversation that he had with Morty. It's like, the show forgets that even happened. They ignore those character moments, and I feel like that happens a lot with Rick and Morty. Sometimes the show will do something that's like really cool and unique and different, and then the next episode, they just ignore it. The show's canon means nothing. This one is kind of related to the last one. Nothing matters. There's no canon. Events happen, but they don't matter. Things are established, but they don't matter. Nothing matters in the world of Rick and Morty. When the show wants to bring back a character that hasn't been seen in a while, they just do it. They don't worry about continuity. They don't worry about how that character has changed or grown, or if they even remember the character. They just bring them back. An example of this would be Jessica. She's brought back multiple times throughout the series, even though she was never really a significant character in the first place. There's also the Council of Ricks. In the episode The Ricklantis Mix-Up, we learn that there's actually a whole society of Ricks and Mortys on a different dimension. Then in later seasons, we see that again. They bring back the Citadel of Ricks. Now, I'm not saying the show can't change or evolve or grow, but I am saying that the show needs to establish things and then actually stick with them. If you establish something, if you take the time to develop something, then don't just ignore it later on because it makes the story feel cheap and kind of lazy. So yeah, those are my thoughts on why Rick and Morty might be getting a little too smart for its own good. What do you guys think? Am I off base here? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new to check out more of my content, and have a good one.